Okay, ready to go? Okay, with that, I'd like to introduce JB Wood. Many of you probably know JB. JB is the CEO at TSIA. TSIA is really instrumental in driving some of the thought leadership around customer success with lots and lots of knowledge about how the services world works and how that needs to integrate into our software and technology world. So JB, come on up.
Thank you, Dan. You know, you're going to hear a lot the next 2 days about the era of customer success. But for those of you who took geology class, Eras are part of epics, right? This is a journey that the entire industry is going on, and it's not a short-lived journey, it's a long-time journey. And that's what I want to talk about, the bigger picture and why your roles and your organizations are so vital to your companies, to your customers, and to your shareholders. For the last 50 years in the enterprise technology world, companies have basically been able to get by with just two basic operating models. They were in the epic, the time of being product-focused companies. Many of those companies had a very simple operating model. They focused on three things: make, sell, and ship products. That was their model. And the organizations that led in those companies were the organizations who made and the organizations who sold. They dominated the thinking of the company. Because selling that product and making money, getting paid up front, transferring that asset to the customer and saying, here, enjoy. That was how they operated. We call that a level 1 basic offer supplier. But some tech companies had complex offers, and the customers needed more help. So we learned a new trick. We still had to make, sell, and ship products, but we had to attach services to those products. We had to help customers, enterprise customers, install the technology, maintain the technology, train the users on the technology. But these two models, make, sell, ship, and make, sell, ship service, you could choose. Level 1 companies, make, sell, ship, brought you Microsoft. It brought you Cisco. Make, sell, ship, and service brought you SAP, brought you Oracle, brought you IBM. And all of us learned a very important lesson. And that was that there was a line we shouldn't cross. The line where we left our products and we started to get involved in the customer's business outcome. Because when we stepped over that line away from our products and into the customer's reality, all our economics broke. Because we had to deal with the customer's bad business processes, their legacy systems, their bad integrations. So we stayed focused on the part of the equation that we knew we could control. We stayed very close to our products. But now there's a problem. We track the quarterly financial performance of 50 of the largest enterprise tech companies in the world. And this is a 7-year trend line of the quarterly financial performance of these companies, and I'm here to tell you, as a group, they are shrinking. In 2008, in the fourth quarter, you can see that these 50 companies together did about $250 billion in the quarter. They were at about $1 trillion run rate. Those same 50 companies today, together, are at an $800 billion run rate. That's $200 billion in revenue that has come off the table from the largest tech companies in the world. That's like the industry losing IBM plus Oracle plus Salesforce plus Cisco. So, to grow, enterprise tech companies are learning that we have to step over that line. We can't just be heads down on the product anymore. We still have to make, sell, and ship great products, but we have to help customers operate those technologies every single day. We have to help companies optimize the adoption of the end users around those technologies. We may even begin to go so far to only charge based on consumption, become true utilities, or even begin to charge based on the business results, the business outcomes that customers get from the technology. The first two models aren't going away. There are still companies who are just going to be product companies and companies who are going to do product plus complex services. But now we're learning there are two more models. We have to help optimize the technology we sell, and we have to help deliver the outcomes that our business customers and even consumers want and the outcomes that we committed to. So I would submit to you, we have been in an epoch of being product-focused, and we are now moving to a new epoch in the enterprise tech world and in the consumer world, where we're here to deliver outcomes to our customers. And delivering those outcomes is going to be made up of three important things. One is, you got to have a great technology. That's not going away, right? The messages about the power of our product and the innovations of our product, they still have to be there. But I would submit to you, that's no longer enough. We need more than just great technology to be able to drive the growth and to seize the opportunity that all of your companies have in front of you. In addition to great products, we have to be able to sell and deliver outcomes. Many of us have sales organizations that struggle with that. We know how to give demos of the product, but we don't really understand how to talk to the customers about how our technology is going to translate into a real outcome. We don't really understand how to deliver those outcomes at scale. To do that, we are going to need new capabilities. Capabilities that tech companies traditionally did not need to have. I run an organization called the Technology Services Industry Association. We're one of the biggest industry association in techs, and we study the operating model of tech companies. We study how to drive a great customer success function, how to drive a great customer support function, how to drive a great customer education service. And I can tell you, there's a huge gap that you are in the center of filling in this industry. For the last 50 years, when we think about the kinds of organizational capabilities that most tech companies had, we were really good at landing new customers. Our sales guys understood how to go land a deal. We were organizationally very proficient at that. We understood how to drive adoption a little bit in the sense that we knew how to install our technology and drive some customer education. And we were good at renewing the maintenance contract. But there was this massive hole in the adopt and the expand piece. Massive hole. That hole is about to be filled. When we think about the complexities, the sophistication that's required in this, what we call the LAER framework, land, adopt, expand, renew, it's the brave new frontier. We still have to land customers. The sales force every day has got to be focused on going out and landing those new brands. And I know your sales force is focused on that every day. But from that moment on, everything changes. We are going to take customers and put them on a platform that's going to feed us data, a platform that's going to tell us who's using, how much they're using. Are they using the sticky features that we know drive renewal and that we know drive expansion? To tell us, is the quality of the customer's data in our systems good quality data? To tell us, are the customers effective users and efficient users of our technology? And ultimately to tell us, are we driving the business outcomes that we've promised to these customers? This is going to be true whether you are a startup SaaS company or a $5 billion legacy software company. We have got to be connected to our customers, and we've got to translate that data into insight across not just our own self-interest, but that of our customers. That data is going to inform multiple organizations in our company. It's got to inform every service arm you have. It's got to inform your professional services teams, inform your support teams, inform your managed service teams, in addition to the customer success teams, and ultimately inform a new area, a new discipline we call outcome engineering, right? Being able to track through all of the activities that are required to drive an outcome for customers. All of those teams have got to work together with a single goal in mind, which is to grow the customer. If you grow your customers, their customers will grow their spending with you. So all of our organizations, not just the customer success organization, all of the organizations who touch customers have to be informed by the data and have to work together to drive the business results for the customers. And the combination of those organizations and that data is going to drive another stream of data that's going to feed our sales organizations. And the sales organizations of the future are going to look a lot different than the sales organizations of the past. We're still going to have a big land sales force, but they're not going to do all the selling. We're going to have purpose-built, highly efficient, expand selling organizations, renewal selling organizations. And all of these are going to be driven by your organization, by the organizations that sit to the right and left of you, and by the data that's coming out of the products and the usage of those products. This is not a journey that any one organization in the company can achieve on its own. We need R&D. If our platforms can't deliver that whole stack of content, the job's not done. R&D's got to continue to deliver so that all of those insights are there. We have to work closely with the service organizations and make the handoffs back and forth seamlessly between the customer success functions and the support and professional services and education functions. We have to work closely with these new sales organizations. It's a different world. In the old world, there was a lot of white space. Tech companies didn't really know what customers did with the products after they were sold. It was, here's the asset, call us if there was a problem. As you well know, that's not good enough anymore. But I would submit even the state of the art today is not sufficient. How many of us really know how the critical adoption of our technology consumption of our technology varies by industry? How many of us have a specific outcome plan for individual customers? How many of us have adoption frameworks and are able to benchmark, as well as monitor and predict? It is a powerful place that we're all standing, but we're just at the beginning. We're at the beginning of the first era of a new epoch. That is important for 3 reasons. Your role is important because it's going to drive the success of your own company. We know consumption drives renewal. We know consumption drives upsell, cross-sell. So your team, your function, your purpose, your mission is good for the company. It's also good for customers. And if we focus primarily on the customers, we'll get the benefit. But I want to say one other thing to you. It's critical for shareholders. You may or may not know this, but so far the enterprise SaaS model has not proven to be a very profitable model. The reason it's not proven yet to be profitable is primarily because of sales and marketing costs. We've been analyzing sales and marketing costs at different sizes of SaaS companies. And what we found is that when companies get to a certain size, their cost of goods numbers begin to improve. Those financial ratios begin to improve. But that orange line, which is sales and marketing costs, continue to grow, and the bigger the companies are, so far, the higher the cost of sales and marketing. That is not a sustainable model for shareholders indefinitely. There is no other organization in the company who's in a better position to attack that problem for shareholders than you. The customer success organizations are going to be central to driving down the overall sales and marketing costs in the SaaS business model. You, in this era, are in a position to drive business benefit to your own company, business outcomes for your customers, and improve profitability for your shareholders. It is an amazing time to be in customer success. We are proud to work with companies every day who are trying to figure out how to optimize this model. I'm proud to say all 5 of those award-winning companies that came out here are active TSIA members. And I want to bring one of them out right now to tell you quickly a story about a fundamental and a beautiful story around how a large multi-billion-dollar enterprise software company has made the decision, made the commitment to not only stand up a customer success organization, but make it front and center in the overall company and its performance. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcoming Mary Trick, the Chief Customer Officer for Infor.
Thank you, JB. Hello. Well, customer success at Infor is not about a segment of the organization or about a set of services that we deliver. But instead, as you all know, it's about delivering value to our customers. And I'm going to share with you now some of the ways that we share value with our customers. It's the first time I'm seeing my picture on a baseball card, probably the last. But we have literally invested billions of dollars into our software to make it beautiful, to make it usable for our customers. And we truly believe that if we have the functionality there, we make it easy to use, and we make it engaging, that our customers are going to enjoy using it. And that means they're going to enjoy their jobs. And we look at that as one of a key value that we're providing to our customers through our software. Secondly, we have purpose-built applications. At Infor, we focus on 12 industries that you see here on the slide. That means instead of one organization with 1 or 2 products, we have 12 organizations within Infor with over 300 products. So I'm really glad when I heard the Chief Development Officer here at Gainsight talk about in the next release being able to look at multiple SKUs. Very important for us. But one of the things we add value to our customers in this way is by what we say, completing that last mile of the application. So the customer doesn't have to customize it unique for their industry, because we do that within our software. And we're proud to say that 19 of the top 20 aerospace companies use our software, 5 of the top 10 brewers. 90% of the Las Vegas Strip has our software running hotels and casinos, right? So it's important to us to deliver the functionality that they all need. And a third area, we have a group of scientists who provide services that give our customers insights into their customers, as well as how they can derive additional value out of their solutions. We're a very large company. We have over 73 customers around the world, many countries around the world. We have almost 13,000 employees today. And think about this, you know, how many days there are in the year? Well, we have multiple go-lives going on every single day, probably 7 by 24 as well. And we are the third largest software application company, enterprise software application company in the world. Now, our customer success environment continues to transform and evolve as we focus on building a strong and necessary infrastructure to surround it. I'm going to cover just a couple of these areas. One of them is the foundation. We feel this is very, very important. It's those factors, such as that all the employees that have to have, such as credibility, reliability, relevance, right? And things that make up trust factor in a relationship. So all of the employees, whether they're directly or indirectly involved with the customers, understand how to interact with the customer in a customer success environment, how to make sure that the customers have an effortless experience when they're dealing with us in any kind of touch point. And we focus on user productivity separately. So it's more than receiving information on which users are logged in or how many times they log in, how long they're logged in, but we're looking at addressing areas for each of our industries by identifying key business processes within each application, within each industry and product, so we can help customers be more productive by ensuring that their users understand those best practices. Now I'm going to show a couple of examples how we're adding value and really focusing on the business outcome for our customers. Something called value engineering that fits into our customer value life cycle. 3 years ago, we established a separate organization called Value Engineering in Infor. Trained many people, they're dedicated to doing this task. And it's early on in the customer life cycle that we identify with them through the value discovery phase areas that could really make an impact on their company, whether that's creating new value or enhancing what they have today. So we look across the organization at different areas and ask questions, as you see here in the value discovery. And we feel even more important than that then is the value realization. This is when you take those forward-looking analysis and turn it into some real actual tangible results for the company. Think about this, depending on the size of your customer, just increasing something by, or productivity perhaps, by 1% might mean multi-million dollars to their bottom line. So that's the kind of effort we have been focusing on with our customers for the last 3 years. It's totally focusing on their business outcome. We have, as part of that, we have a very factual-driven methodology. It's very data-driven, very industry-specific. I won't go into any detail, but I think at the core of it is an element of benchmarking. So we compare a company for any kind of given process to their peers within the same industry. We hold out the pace setters for them so they can see what can be done within their particular business. And here's some examples of customers that have realized real value from this. There's a number of companies up here. I don't know if you've heard of CERN. They've got their business in the mountains in Switzerland, and they have this huge pieces of equipment where they are working on particles and you know, how the universe was created. Last year, actually, they labeled something as the God particle that helped him create the universe. Well, they use our software as to track preventative maintenance of all that equipment that is running inside that mountain. It's quite unbelievable. So we have stories on each of these on our website, I believe, and if not, if you're interested in any of them, I'd be happy to share them with them. Their lawyers have actually given us the okay to show this because they have realized great value from this value engineering with us. And just to show you a couple more, with CERN, if I look at it, and I can't read that from here, I circled it and thought I'd have it memorized, but I can't. But some real high-level productivity gains. The impact of having this particular system, what is it called? The Hedron, whatever. Sorry about that. But having the uptime for it, going up to 99% from something much less than that, has been a significant gain for them. And one other company I wanted to highlight out of those 6 was the Elsinore Valley Municipal Water District, because they're here in California. They're trying to keep up with the heavy pace of the real estate market, and they need to provide the water infrastructure for all of the residents. They were relying on one person, actually, on a homemade or man-made financial and HR system, and they weren't able to keep up with the heavy demand. So looking at their needs in that area, and they've implemented some of our software, they've seen some significant benefits as well. Now, these are real, live, actual results that they've already derived from our solutions and from the value engineering exercise. And the last area I wanted to highlight is the customer experience platform. 2 weeks ago, we signed an order with Gainsight, so we're a brand new customer with them. We haven't yet realized the value, and it's been 2 weeks now. But we're looking for that to turn around very quickly, and think about implementing a system like this with all of our data, all of our records. Talk about big data. We have a lot of data around our organization that we're pulling together. So everybody interacting with one customer will be able to have the view of that customer on their mobile phone or on their iPad or laptop, and it's going to allow us to have a different conversation, a real value-driven conversation with our customers going forward. So we're really looking forward to that. And finally, just the thought I will leave with all of you is we understand how important it is to have this customer success become part of our DNA, right? It needs to permeate every employee, every solution, every touch point we have with customers anywhere in the organization. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So, if you're a startup SaaS company, it's a no-brainer to do a customer success function, right? I mean, everybody gets the point. When you're a multi-billion-dollar enterprise software company, it's not such an easy decision. It's a big investment. It disrupts a lot of organizational structures and changes a lot of things. I assume it wasn't a lightning bolt that hit your CEO. What was the compelling logic that drove Infor to stand up this customer success function?
I would say it's multiple things, but the biggest thing is input from our customers. While our customers have seen huge improvements in our product, as I said, we've done a ton of investment, billions of dollars of investment in our products over the last few years, the element that was missing was the focus on them. So they really begged us for it. They were asking us to be innovative, to bring them new ideas, which we've done through the value engineering. They're asking us to understand who they are. So the sales rep knows who they are, but then the next day they interact with our professional services person, and the next day probably support, and we don't have a general understanding of who that customer is across the entire organization, and they don't like that. They're asking us for more. So, that's really what drove it and is going to continue to drive it.
So it was the story that customers were telling was pretty clear, pretty compelling. They wanted this level of involvement. They wanted your expertise. So many companies know so much about how to achieve success with their own technology, and they don't do a great job of packaging that up and delivering it in a usable way to customers, ironically.
Yes.
So what's next for this organization? So you've made a lot of progress. You bought Gainsight. You're ready to roll. How is this going to evolve?
Well, as you know, we'll have Gainsight up and running in 12 weeks. and then on to something else. But one of the things that I think is very important for us as a large organization is to get very clear with the responsibilities. And it sounds very simple. It sounds simple. You have a list of roles and responsibilities when the salesperson's involved, when the professional services and the project manager is involved, and when the customer success manager is involved. But we still have this pride of ownership. And some people in our organization believe the AE, the account exec, owns that relationship no matter what. Yet their alignment is their incentive on driving new license sales, which is something at your conference last week was very, very key, that you were looking at how can we continue to acquire new customers, but at the same time do it reasonably priced in the best way, and can we use our customer success managers to do that? So there's a lot of this internal kind of organizational and cultural issues that we need to work through.
That's yet to come.
Yes.
Well, I think, if I can speak for you and say, I think we both agree, everybody in this room is in the center of a new era in the next epic.
And it's fun.
So go have a killer conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.